off a daily fantasy. His number too high, then I'm probably fading him. He been on the road, he gon' eat up my salary. I hit up by, he gon' lie before lock. Play back to back, then I probably won't pick on the DFS bachelor, good as it gets. Bit a few liners and hit me a leg. He had a good game, but it might be a trick. Log in the Slack so I know who to pick. Sharing our liners, we all gon' get rich. New to this game, you should come to the pad. You might want some cash and get a good laugh. DFS sports, we gon' run up a bag. He heard every game and it's making me mad. You buying your lineups, I think you a cheater. DFS bachelor, he the new leader. Yeah.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to the Bachelor Pad. I, of course, am your host of DFS Bachelor, and we're going to go over our fantasy draft NBA picks for Thursday, February 13th. It is our last slate before the NBA All-Star break. And then NBA will be off for a week until next Thursday. First things first, thank you for all your support. I truly do appreciate that. If you are new to the channel, welcome to the team. Be sure to hit subscribe below. Get access to all of our content. XFL, NBA for all the sites, etc. Lots and lots of stuff. The Window Liquor Awards will be early next week as well, our second annual Window Liquor Awards, so I'm excited for that. So be sure to hit subscribe if you're inclined to do so. Also, by liking the video, subscribing to the channel, and leaving a comment in the comment section, you qualify for our weekly $25 PayPal giveaway, and that will be, and those winners are announced every Monday. Probably for next week, since it's the short week and the stuff is off, we'll announce that winner probably during our XFL video, which should come out before the NFL video next week, or for the NBA videos next week. So that's what we'll do with the different schedule. Obviously, tonight is a 2-game slate, so basically, if the player is going to see the court, they're in play. Anything kind of goes in these 2-game slates, very limited. So what you're trying to do is trying to leave some salary on the table, be a little bit different, try to stand out so that if your lineup does go off, you're not tying with, 1,000 other people with the same lineup. So that is something that to consider, especially if you're playing tournaments. So please do keep that in mind. For those of you who are new to the channel or new to Fantasy Draft, wondering what Fantasy Draft is, Fantasy Draft is rake-free DFS. What that means is that all of your entry fees go right back into the prize pool. Higher chance of winning, higher chance of winning more. It's a lot of fun. Be sure to check out Fantasy Draft at FantasyDraft.com. Enter promo code DFS Bachelor. Create a username. Comment with your username in the comment section. We're going to be sorting some out giveaways and etc. for NBA and the other sports. So be sure to comment with that Fantasy Draft username. If you don't have one, go create one. And also, just real quickly, the salary cap is double that of DraftKings. So Drew Holiday, you see $13,800, you think, holy crap, he's more expensive than James Harden. No. That's the equivalent of about $6,900, on DraftKings. So just wanted to point that out. So let's get into it. As usual, I'm doing a quick core 5 for Fantasy Draft that I think could be successful tonight. Again, it's a 2-game slate, so there's not a ton of ways you can go. So let's get right into it. Right at the top, we got Drew Holiday. It's 13-8 on Fantasy Draft. Oklahoma City is 18th against opposing guards. His last time out against Oklahoma City, he put up a 37, a 36, a 59, and a 63. They're 17th against opposing shooting guards, Oklahoma City is. Drew Holiday, especially if Brandon Ingram remains out, which it wouldn't shock me. It doesn't make any sense for them to bring Brandon Ingram back today if he's still sort of hurt. And then you have a week off. May as well just give him the extra rest. So I would anticipate Ingram is out tonight. Again, you can follow me on Twitter at DFS Bachelor. Let me know. I'll let you know as soon as I find out. You all will find out right there on the Twitter sphere. But I like Drew Holiday. I think he's underpriced, and the usage rate goes up when Brandon Ingram is out. Right below that, going back to New Orleans, a city he spent a ton of years in, a city that he's a big fan of. I like Chris Paul. Chris Paul is 13-1 on Fantasy Draft. So you're getting him for just over $6,500 on DraftKings. Today on DraftKings, he's $7,100. So you're getting him for a nice price. New Orleans allows the second most fantasy points in the league to opposing point guards. Against guards overall on Fantasy Draft, they're 24th. Defending guards, 33, a 36, a 44, and 3 of his last 4 versus New Orleans. Of course, we know about the I wouldn't even call this a revenge game because he just loves the city so much. But of course, when he goes there, there's extra motivation to play well against a team that plays at a very fast pace. It's a paced-up game for Oklahoma City. Paul, Gilgeous-Alexander, Schroeder, all 3 of them are in a good spot tonight with that paced-up style of offense that New Orleans plays should be extra possessions for all of them. So I do like all of them, but I love the price for Chris Paul right now here on Fantasy Draft. Next for me, and I don't know what the hell is going on DraftKings and Fantasy Draft here, but Montrezl Harrell is way too cheap. Now, he hasn't played a ton of minutes the last few games. That's because they've been beating the brakes off of people. The last 2 games were massive blowout wins. Tonight they're playing Boston. This should be a more competitive game on the road in Boston. Boston is 15th against opposing centers. They're 11th against forward/centers on Fantasy Draft. He's 8,800 on Fantasy Draft and what's the equivalent of 4,400 on DraftKings? Then when you look on DraftKings, he's 4,500. I don't know what happened there, but that's a lock. He'll be in every lineup I make. If I think he's going to be outrageously chalky, which he should be, I'll fade him in a couple. Go to like a JJ Redick type pivot at that same price point or something. But right now, Landry Shamet maybe, Ivica Zubats. But too cheap for Montrezl Harrell. Big time upside, we all know that. When you look at his last 4 against Boston, 35, 32, 25, and 25, he's just underpriced. His worst game in his last 5 is a 19. He still almost hits value at that price. I mean, come on. Too cheap for Montrezl Harrell. Love that price for him. So that allows me to pay up for a guy like Kawhi Leonard. Now, Kawhi Leonard doesn't have the greatest history against Boston. His last couple of games have been disappointing, a 37 and a 38. His previous 3 were a 50, a 62, and a 51. Boston is 2nd in Fantasy Draft scoring against forward/centers. They're 7th in the league overall in fantasy points allowed to opposing small forwards. He's 17-1 on Fantasy Draft. You're getting him for like 8,500 on DraftKings. Today he's actually 9-1 on DraftKings. I expect Kawhi Leonard right before the All-Star break. Shouldn't be limited in any way, shape, or fashion. Now, you never know with Kawhi. He could have an aunt that lives out in Boston, and tonight could be macrame night. He sits out strange games, but I do like Kawhi Leonard tonight. Priced up, lots of value. Excuse me, sneeze just came up and got me. Hopefully I got that mute button in there. I apologize for that. But Kawhi Leonard, love the upside. Plenty of salary to go around. 2-game slate. You can go him. You can go Paul George. You can go Tatum. Lots of ways you can go there, but I do like Kawhi Leonard tonight. And finally, Zion Williamson. 14-2 on Fantasy Draft, so he's the equivalent of about 7,100, which is right about, he's at 7,800 on DraftKings. Oklahoma City is 14th against forward/centers on Fantasy Draft scoring. They are 9th against opposing power forwards. Big time athletic upside, just coming off his first 50 fantasy point game of the season. My goodness, I apologize for that again. Coming off his first 50-point fantasy performance of the season, I like Zion Williamson an awful lot. So if you go with that core 5 of Jrue Holiday, Chris Paul, Montrezl Harrell, Kawhi Leonard, Zion Williamson, you still have 11,000 per player. Plenty of salary to fill out the rest of your roster. It's actually a really nice core. I really like that. Won't shock me if it's pretty common today, to be completely honest. But again, it's a 2-game slate, so we will take what we can get. Again, thank you all so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, be part of our giveaway. Don't forget to comment with your Fantasy Draft username if you do not have one. Go to FantasyDraft.com, enter promo code DFS Bachelor, create your account, comment with your Fantasy Draft username. You could find yourself winning entries into some contests. Again, I don't have the full details of that yet. May the fantasy gods be with you. Enjoy the NBA All-Star break. Cheers to you all. Be sure to check out XFL. Our XFL video will be out later today. We'll do our Window Liquor Awards during the middle of the week. We're going to be doing Twitter polls where you guys get to pick the winners of the category, so I like that. Thank you all again so much. Goodbye, folks.